everybody. It's Awestruck Comics Podcast. We're doing Reviews Day. Exciting week for us. Exciting week. We did our Youngblood 2025 review. It's burning up the charts. Burning up the charts, Rob.
That's right. Double digits,
Burning
dude.
up the charts. Double digits really quickly. It's on the people doing the shares, subscribes, send it to a friend, put it on the Instagram, put it on the story, repost it in the story. It's in
That's right.
Rob Liefeld's story today.
We're dropping flyers out of biplanes. We're getting the word out.
My dad watched it. He texted me, said it was good.
He's like, "What's a Youngblood?"
He said, "Who's Rob?" Well, he knows who Rob Liefeld is, so it's kind of pretty cool. Pretty cool. He says, "Good job on the Liefeld." Thanks, Dad.
Because your dad is an author.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Shark Lock Bones, everybody.
Shark Lock Bones, the shark detective.
So we're going to get into it. Yeah, and everything.
Does he detect on land or in the ocean?
Bit of both. The first one is all Italian puns.
I always thought it'd be cool if he went after a ghost called the Gabagool. You can give him that. That's on me.
Yeah,
gratis.
I'll check with him. Just gratis. So, but like, share, and subscribe. Instagram, I'm Idiosyncratic Pulp and Awestruck Comics on Instagram. You're on the X.
On the X, Rob Messick, and the Maximum Supreme. Yes. We're also on the Facebook at Awestruck Comics. Has nothing to do with the show, but it's still Awestruck Comics. We're building an empire. One person at a time.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun stuff. So we're going to jump right into reviews. We got first up, Summer Superman 25, which was essentially almost like a full culmination. Boom. It's like a full culmination of the first 25 issues. Actually, it feels like a lot of stuff happened in this first 25 issues. Pretty solid.
It brought up stuff that I'd kind of forgotten about, so which is what a 25th issue should do.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing that bummed me out is that the cover has all this stuff in it, which happened in the first 25 issues. However, Perry White winning, that's not in here.
That is not in there.
No, at all. So it's a little loose. That being said, we got basically the first 3 or 4 or 5 pages. It was all Jamal Campbell, who started off the series, Eddie Barrows, who had some fill-ins with throughout, and then Dan Mora. So you have all this Superman artists, together doing pretty fun equal work too. I mean, we love Dan Mora, but this is pretty great Jamal stuff to to the Eddie Barrows stuff here. And I think it's the Eddie Barrows stuff's interesting. I'm not too sure if it's the inker or not, where it has this a lot of extra lines in it. But
it works with this because it showcases the cracks better.
Yeah, first off, this is pretty heartbreaking. This clone of Luthor is pretty brutal.
Pretty brutal.
He's part Bizarro. I mean, that's the thing, is that there's this constant. It's been a crazy Luthor week because we had. It's a shame that Luthor book, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, which we'll talk about later. I wish that came out when it's supposed to come out a year ago. You know what I mean? Right. I feel like there's too much Luthor this week. Too much Luthor. And it's hard to. And there's two Luthors. There's a Luthor and a half. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, wonderful Dan Mora. I almost feel like whenever I see stuff like this, maybe he should just draw again. I know he should just draw a girl book. I feel like I have trouble with the Superman face still, but still.
Yeah, you said that since he started on the book.
That one.
Are you getting more used to it?
Yeah, he's falling into it a little bit more. I don't know. But the women he draws is just killer, man.
He does. He kills it on the women. Who do you think he should look at? He should be like, hey, Mark, I want to draw Superman face to make you happy.
Who should I look at? Because I think it's not that different.
No, there's a similarity there. That works.
Because there's we were spoiled with that Summer Superman special, just all Jorge and drawn, and just I don't know. I've always liked I've always liked his Superman. I think his Superman's excellent. But I think the figure work and the consistency and the excitedness of this Superman is great. And it could just be the inker as well. But even when we get in a JLU stuff, just unlimited, I hate calling it that. Hate it. So basically, we're ending a bunch of storylines at once. We're getting rid of this Luthor, or at least we're trying to kind of stop this Luthor, right?
Yes. We've been enjoying decent Luthor lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to see bad Luthor return. But the opening of this book is incredible, because you find out everything that happened to Luthor over the course of this book was planned up until Brainiac messed with his memories. Like, he planned on going to prison. He planned on Superman taking over. Planned on everything Supercorp was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a really cool opening to this issue. And then to see the ending of this issue is Luthor. He's not back, but he definitely put himself in a position where Superman is no longer going to trust him.
Yeah, but I can't disagree. Like, this page is really important. I mean, I can't really disagree with this. And when we talk Spider-Man a little bit later, I'll kind of get into why I have trouble with certain elements in some of these. Same thing with Batman. You know what I mean? Like, Batman, and actually, it's kind of a similar thing happens in Batman. Well, we'll talk about Batman when that comes up too.
One comic at a time.
Yeah. But I mean, here it's that argument of like, okay, Joker's killed so many people. This person's going to kill, XL is going to kill everyone. So what are we doing here? Why wouldn't we do that? So he's not wrong,
Not wrong.
But now I thought this was good. It's what I do every damn day. It's like, whew, he's never going to stop. He's the man of tomorrow. You are not the man of tomorrow.
Right. Superman would have done some other. He wanted to figure something out. Let me depower him. Let's put him in the Phantom Zone. He's a living creature. Put him on Bizarro World. Lex is like, yeah, that's all too much, and none of it might work, and he might come back from any one of those things that you think of, because I come back from all those things that you've done to me.
Mm-hmm.
So this sucks. I was enjoying her being a superhero. The costume looks great. He draws her great, even with her ass kicked like that. It's like,
yeah. I'm fine. I don't know how long you really could keep it up, and where's.
Oh no, it was always going to be a limited thing. I feel like they didn't do enough with it. I feel like they didn't get a chance to really enjoy it enough. There's more.
We also don't have Zod coming back for it too. That's another piece of it too. Is if she has some of Zod's powers, Zod should have come back to reclaim it.
Right. That's an interesting thing that we missed out on.
And maybe it's just that she burned it out. That she did a ton of powers and then they're gone. Was that in Bendis's run where he did like an explosion type of thing? He did like a power surge.
No, it was Jeff Johns with John Romita Jr.
Okay,
that's the first time he did that. During that, there's a Superman thinks he finds a friend because he's from another dimension. I think he's like the last survivor of a dimension, but like I think he's really like kind of shitty.
Yeah,
that was like New 52 Superman.
Yeah, I feel like they played around with that, so I'm almost wondering if it's like, it's like you're making like an EMP, and on yourself,
I mean, yeah. She could
coming back.
She could still have her power. Her powers could come back. That's true.
Says Superman Red. Maybe she'd be Superwoman Red. Superwoman Red. But yeah, just great. I'm excited for. I mean, again, this has been really consistent. This is the most I've liked the Superman. I can't wait for Wade to come on to action. I'm nervous about Slott coming on, but it's so goofy.
Who's drawing Slott's book again?
Raphael Albuquerque, which means he's going to go 4 issues and be gone. And then maybe do covers, and then we'll get.
So a negative mark.
Who's? I'm not okay. You bet me, all right? You want to bet me?
Who's betting? Oh man,
who's betting me?
Mark is testy tonight, people.
Betting man. I know. I'm a little grumpy. It's just that I don't know. Okay, and here's the thing. I don't know. I think I might have sent it to you. They have these interviews that they've been having with some of the DC writers, and I don't know when they did a whole interview with that, but Slott was in that. It was Slott, Wade. I don't know if Williamson was there, but anyway. So they asked Slott, like, Tom King, right? And Tom King's like, oh, my favorite story, of course, whatever happened to Man Tomorrow, I'm going to rip that off. Blah, blah, blah. And then I think someone else says the same thing, and then Slot's like, I'm not sure, I don't know. And it just reminds me of that Slot episode of like that Marvel fucking show where he couldn't get it together, and they had to basically pinch hit Christos Gage to like write his shit for him.
I feel like if you're going to come on Superman as a writer, you should either have a favorite story or a favorite era as your touchstone. This is what I think of when I think of Superman. And for me, it is whatever happened to Man of Tomorrow, or for the man who has everything. It's Alan Moore Superman does it the best. That's my touchstone. People have done it since then. Grant Morrison with All-Star Superman, fantastic. A lot of the LAS Magan stuff, great. The Marty Pascoe stuff's really good. But the Marty Pascoe and LAS Magan help inform Alan Moore Superman, and Alan Moore also is informed by the Weisinger era Superman.
Right.
So these are my touchstones. So Mark Waid is a Weisinger era dude, straight pure through. Slot. That's weird that he doesn't have like a. I mean, I just pulled that stuff out of my butt. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. He wasn't ready for that fucking question. I was like, this is a pretty. Listen, you're on a Superman, like, you're being interviewed about Superman. And Ram V answered well. Everyone answered well. Even people that aren't writing Superman, they answered well. Jeremy Adams answered well. We know Jeremy Adams would probably eventually wants to write Superman. Bring him on. That's fine. Bring him
Jeremy
on.
Adams. Jeremy Adams, and though he might have just been saying it because that's what he has to say, he says, I'm real excited about Dan Slott stuff. It's really going to be great. I'm like, I hope so. You're too nice of a guy to say anything else, Jeremy Adams.
Yeah, Jeremy Adams made a fucking like Aquaman's staff like at Home Depot to show John Timms how to do that. So that's fucking awesome. Okay. He's like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to be a sword. I wanted to do this. It's like, it's crazy.
Well,
so
I think
that's really fun.
I forget half the story. He just told in the interview. That's partially by mistake and partially by him trying to fix a mistake. Like, I think he wanted a sword at first, and then he changed it to a trident, but maybe Timms didn't see the change to the trident, and then he ended up drawing a sword. He's like, but I need him to do the trident. Like, wait a minute, can you just change the sword to look like this? And then he goes to Home Depot, grabs the material, and like he goes, it's so goofy. My wife's taking pictures, but I'm trying to like make both happen because I'm so happy with the sword and the trident. I want them both.
Hey man, listen, John Timms is fucking great. We're spoiled with artists. Listen, I want Albuquerque to go, but Albuquerque came on when he did that detective run with Ram V, and he was off in 4 or 5 issues, and then it kind of struggled to get another identity. I wonder what Mahmoud's doing. He would be a good Superman artist, I think. Mahmoud Asrar, in the same vein, have them split. You know what I mean? Like that would be pretty great. That would be pretty great. Again, I'm just nervous. I'm waiting. Maybe I would say give it 10 issues, and Christos Gage is co-writing it. I feel like that happened a lot. I feel like it happened a lot.
And guess what? Christos Gage is the best guy to have to be your scripter. He's like, Christos Gage is a worker.
He's not overwriting it. Yes, he's not overwriting it that you don't feel like it's not like Slot. It's a good pinch hit. It's a great pinch hit. So, Jed MacKay is the only. Well, I guess Jed MacKay and Dennis Camper are the only writers at Marvel right now. Okay, and MacKay is writing Avengers. I need to go back and read Avengers because I'm just off of Avengers. Not that I want to be. It's just that I don't know.
It's solid, and the art's solid. It's not not Stegman. Like Stegman's a stylized artist bringing a lot to this book. I'll tell you what, even Liefeld, I think he enjoys Stegman a lot, but he just calls Marvel morons for not having Wolverine in this comic. You got to have Wolverine and Cyclops together. That's what sells the next book.
Yeah, I just like all the weird elements in this. I love Juggernaut in this. I love how weird and creepy fucking magic is. And there's a magic book, and the only reason, and listen, Magic will be canceled, I'd say, by issue 15 because J. Scott Campbell is not drawing the covers anymore. There's a guarantee percentage of that being sold, and he's not drawing the covers anymore. I think issue 8 was his last one. And I see the newer covers. No one cares.
No,
it's not going to work.
No,
I mean, that was to me. It was like he's cheapened by doing that. And actually, I was surprised. One of the most recent issues had Magic, and then her personalities next to her. So he drew 5 Magic faces. And I was like, whoa. I was like, look at you. Look at you, buddy.
Look at you drawing not just a hot chick in the short pants.
Usually it's one hot chick, and that's it. You're gonna draw me 4 or 5. I mean, he drew heads and stuff, but still. But yeah, I love how weird and creepy Magic is, and what they're doing. And this is writing to Stegman's strength here. What was the book he did for? Was that Top Cow? Or he drew like a? It was like a darkness type of character, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
Donny Cates
the book
did?
he did with him and Cates. Yeah, forget it.
I never
It
read
was
that.
like it was like a world where like a Harry Potter type of kid who saves the universe gets back, and then I guess they need him again. I don't know. It's a world full of magic. I think I forget the name of the book. Wasn't terrible.
Yeah, look how insane this is, though. I mean, there's just a lot of fun of this going on, and it's all planned out. It's like, all right, we're gonna have some disgusting shit and have him run through this giant monster, you know. And I don't know who these. And we saw them. They're on, of course, they're on the next issue of Cover, but
Yes, which we saw a couple months ago and we talked about it.
yeah,
And we were like, we have no idea what's going on with them.
good,
Great. Let me be surprised. Let me not be able to figure a storyline out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Liefeld on this. If Wolverine was in this, it would make it just that much cooler.
Yeah,
That other book has no identity. That other book is a fucking kitchen, and everyone's standing around talking about what we're going to do. They put in 5 new characters, which I know is usually like what they do. They be 1 or 2 characters, but they have like 5 or 6 new X-Men characters. You got Rogue wondering if she can be leader. Now I think what we have Gambit like talking to his old, mentor.
Right. Going back down to the bayou.
Yeah, just no. Go back and read that Gambit miniseries. That's all you need. What a great miniseries, dude. That miniseries is fucking great.
The Lee Weeks one?
Weeks.
Yeah, that is great.
So good, dude. It's so good. I gotta get that trade because that's an exclusive cover on that trade.
Nice.
Oh man. All right, here we go. We either talked about this or I texted about this. So I slammed the first issue. Everyone, if any fan of the reviews days had me just like livid on this from just the same exact stuff that was and done better in Brand New Day, done better 13, 14 years ago. And it was just more and more decompressed. Now this issue is kind of a 180 because it was able to kind of do stuff. And I don't know what's going on. And I really like these like flashbacks. And I feel like this is actually like anti-woke because you figure that they like neuter young Peter, right? This Peter's getting in trouble. He's looking at nudie mags. He's doing bad kid shit. He's yelling at Aunt May and Uncle Ben.
Right.
Great.
He's a kid. He's allowed to be a kid.
We've not seen that.
No.
One of some of the best scenes in the Spider-Man first movie, in Raimi's movie, is him being mean to Uncle Ben. It's painful.
It is painful. Because that's the last time he sees him.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen, but and how great of an actor. I don't even know if it was that good of an actor, but like the way he like turned away, I was like, okay, well, I'll pick you up later. Like, and just kind of goes back to his car.
Oh, that was great. He was like,
yeah.
He like gives a gruff and a comment or something, and you're like, you can see that he's hurt. He's hurt because he loves Peter more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And Peter had never acted out like that. Yeah, that was sad. And when he's dying, the way he says, Peter. Yeah, Peter, like he doesn't know he's there. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's horrible. They haven't done that better. Because we got what? We got Martin Sheen. I don't think that was as impactful. Martin Sheen
was fine in that.
Yeah.
That's probably the last thing I really watched him in. I don't know what he did after that.
I was thinking about him falling off the roof. Departed. He fell off the roof. Hilarious. A lot of gore at the end of Departed. Departed's a consistent. If Departed's on, it's on. I'll never not watch it. It's on, it's on. Yeah, it's the art's still a little goofy. I don't know if I need this. Feels very Batman Hush to me, like a new childhood friend. You know what I mean? This guy gonna be a villain, probably. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop on it a little bit. Distracted Peter Parker, but I like how he just like panicked. It's neat. Okay, so here's my beef and rant here. Okay,
all right.
Let me think about this here. All right. Okay. So this guy killed, regardless if we, if we want to say he did or he didn't. If a face of someone killed someone that you were in love with, you're one of your high school sweetheart, right? This guy killed her. Are you just hanging out in his office, naked, half naked?
Yes, you are.
You're still going to be fine with him. I don't think you can do it.
No,
I wouldn't be able to do it.
You're actually no. I would have thought you were right. Okay, remember when that cop thought she was in her apartment and she was on the wrong floor? She goes into the apartment, sees a black guy on the couch, and she like shoots him. Do you remember this story a couple years ago? Horribly tragic. Like that was her, and then she tries to like, kind of cover it up, and whatever. I think she tried to say like he was trying to break in, but like clearly she was in the wrong floor she was in his apartment. So anyway, the point of the story is at her like sentencing, his brother asked if he could go hug her and say he forgives her. And I'm just like, ugh. Like could I do that if someone killed my brother?
No.
But don't you feel bad when you watch Shrinking and you know that you know what I mean? Now, Norman Osborn, he was under the spell of the Green Goblin. It was the drugs. It was the medication. Don't we forgive people who, you know what I mean, who get addicted? Like, that's what we're supposed to do. We forgive them because that wasn't them. So, I'm not trying to be, like, woke about this. But I'm just saying that's
woke.
Totally woke. I'm woken up to the world. But I'm just saying, it's I'm not being put in those shoes. I'm just saying, I know people who've gone down the drug lane, and we accept them back and we forgive them for what they've done. If they're apologetic and if they truly mean it. Norman, he apologized. He did kill, and but it was the drugs. It was all the goblin formula and all this stuff. And Peter didn't trust him, but it took years to rebuild that trust. I mean, years. We've been reading this for years. He's been on the side of good. But in the end, he's a billionaire, so you know he's going to go back to being evil.
I just don't know what. Listen, the scene could be exactly the same as Dr. Kirk Connors. That's it. Could be exactly the same. There's still no reason for Peter to be dating. I don't care. I mean, it's not. There's no scene that I see with him with someone that I'm not thinking that could be better if it was just Mary Jane.
Peter's got to get it wet.
No. This is wonderful. Pepe Larraz art. Here's another character which I kind of know, which I feel like is the same thing. It looks like his girlfriend. No, the girl like
is it his girlfriend?
I don't know.
There's a reason it looks like his girlfriend.
I guess that's right. I don't know.
Because did it kind of hook him up?
Yeah. Snap. But yeah, overall, very creepy.
Right. Itsy bitsy back.
Yeah. So thumbs up. Awestruck approved. Similar here. Okay, this is similar in the fact that, the argument we just had with Luthor destroying Luthor. Here we have
Crime Alley. If Crime Alley were around today, it would be like a beer garden. Like we don't
be a pop-up beer garden.
It would be a pop-up beer garden because there's no like alleys anymore. Everything's well lit. There's no alleys in cities. You don't walk down. They're not there anymore.
The only thing that like kind of got to me in the beginning of this was like, man, it's all the Jim Lee's doing his own Jim Lee tropes, and I know they're basically doing the exact same thing they did in the second issue. It feels very like Force Awakens, right? We're doing kind of the same thing. However, I feel like he's trying to stretch a little bit here, and I kind of dig when it's not working. Okay, so I feel like, of course, this is what we want. This is what we've seen. Why does this have to be? First off, why does she look like this? There's already an established like looking Dr. Leslie Tompkins. She was just in Detective Comics like 6 months ago on the Ram V run. She doesn't look like this
because this is weirdly set not in our universe. It's supposed to be, but I feel like the way he's interacting with Jason Todd, I'm like, haven't they come a long way since then?
This is you're right. This is his own. This is right. The Hush, like you're right. It's a Jeff Loeb-verse. You're right. Right.
Well, Jeff Loeb hasn't been. Yeah, he hasn't been reading Batman for the past 15 years. I get it. He's like, all right, where's this character? Where's this character? And if it doesn't fit where the character journeys they've been on, he'll just be like, well, whatever. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing 12 issues with Jim Lee. Everyone, shut up. Just shut up and read it.
I don't need Leslie Tompkins to be there as an extra person hugging Bruce when his parents died.
Well, someone had to find him.
Yeah, it should be Commissioner Gordon. It should be Captain Gordon.
Somebody's got to report it to the police first. You think police just happen to roll up?
Yes.
Okay.
I just stop adding stuff. That's why I stopped reading Detective Comics.
I agree with you.
I stopped reading Detective Comics because they just started like again, he's like visiting Joe Chill. No. Just like I don't agree. Disagree. Okay.
Man, you can't visit Joe Chill. You can't visit Harry Osborn. You can't.
No. Kill him.
Or Norman Osborn.
First off, Norman Osborn died by his own glider, but then he's not dead.
I agree with you. No, that never should have happened. I always felt like
don't bring him back. That's it.
No. I argue with. You know, it's funny. I argue with Todd Zago twice about this. One time I said, I'd love this run. I said, but I wouldn't have brought back Norman. He's like, no, man, it had to be Norman. I'm like, no, it should have been Harry. Harry's the best friend. Harry. That's a much better dichotomy of a villain because there's a guy who truly was changed by drugs.
Same hair too.
But then Todd Zago in an interview was like, yeah, we didn't really want to bring back Norman Osborn. It was kind of like a thing. Like we thought it should have been Harry. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You just argued the opposite against me 20 years ago.
They took your argument. He took your argument, bro.
He's like,
you know what, Rob's right.
That guy's right. Remember that guy argued with 20 years ago at Wizard World Philly in 2001? Now that it's 2024 and I have my own podcast, I'm going to take that guy's opinion.
That's right. Look, we always talk about Jim Lee. I like Jim Lee when he's doing wackadoo shit. Like, I like these watercolors. I think that's cool. Because I feel like just like corporate Jim Lee, the stuff, you know. That being said, I'm going to contradict myself here. Comic-Con. Comic. See that?
Go back a page, Mark. Number 27.
Yeah, 27. Okay. Big Belly Burgers. Gotham Lights. Big Belly Burgers are basically the WB.
Sam Loeb Amphitheater. That's nice. Name something after your son that passed.
Yeah.
Or that's the day he passed, April 13th.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Really? You know, I don't know. It's either his birthday or the day he passed. Sad. So sad. I can't imagine. I do not like to imagine.
Yeah, but I just feel like you're bringing back Leslie Tompkins to look basically the same. Can he not draw women? Can he not draw older women? I don't think so. It's not working.
I don't know.
The Bart Sears Faith. That was my introduction to Leslie Tompkins. That was a wonderful Bart Sears. I believe Mark Pennington inks. I might be wrong on that. Trying to think who wrote that. Mike W. Barr. Anyway, so this looks like an action figure, you know, but I feel like it's kind of good and tight though. It's a little different. I like the face of it. I think it's really, really good. I don't know. I like some of the cross hatching. It just seems like he's either working a little thicker. And we're back to this again. Is that a woman? Come on, man! What are we doing here? This doesn't have to be Leslie Tompkins. It could just be a dude.
That's right.
You know,
it's Leland Thompson.
And also, he's drawing the Joker different than he drew him in the last Hush, so it's also a little confusing. But look how good this is.
That's a pure Jim Lee. Yeah, Jim Lee.
Yeah, man.
He's done that pose a couple times. Like someone sitting on a chair. He did it with Namor. It looked great.
Namor. Yeah, Namor. But and this is way closer than a normal Jim Lee. So I'm like, cool, man. Look, I love Red Hood. And listen, there wouldn't really be Red Hood without this comic anyway. You know what I mean? Without Hush anyway.
This is so funny.
This is him like reappropriating, because that was like an illusion. That wasn't even really Jason Todd. That was like, it was Jason Todd?
It was Clayface pretending to be Jason Todd, but he had the fighting skills of Nightwing. And Batman's like, you were never that good. Like, you're never as good as Dick. Like, I remember that line.
Never as good as that Dick.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
get that Dick. Here we go, right there. But there's the question. How could you save the Joker's life? It's the same question. It's the same question that everyone had with Superman. Superman's trying to save Luthor in the Lex Luthor book. Last Days of Lex Luthor.
But I feel like it's back to what we said. Jeff Loeb hasn't been reading Batman the past 15 years, and I'm pretty sure Jason Todd's come to peace with all this. He's dealt with Joker. Jeff Johns wrote him incredibly in 3 Jokers.
I like Free Joker so much.
3 Jokers is
so
great.
Good.
That's actually some of the best treatment of Jason Todd I've ever read.
We blew it. Look at this. Ready? Kaboom!
Oh, look at that. I didn't
Cool.
I didn't pick up on that.
Boom! Look at that. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Now, I know I was bitching about how like the Jim Lee experiment. This is the Jim Lee, pure, solid, good Jim Lee, and also beautiful women, just like Dan Mora. Beautiful, beautiful. I like their relationship. There is, I mean, listen. I know it's not really it wouldn't sell, but I like this Batgirl Nightwing dynamic in the last 2 issues more than I feel like it's been done. That it was done okay, and I think the Tom Taylor, but
I liked it.
I like this. It's good. Good. And I love this. I love this costume. I think it's pretty cool.
It's a big, badass looking Riddler.
And you have a bunch of Batgirl costumes back there, which are kind of fun too as well.
That was fun.
Yeah, give me that tattoo on my face. Give me that face tattoo. You can fuck around with like, that's the thing, is I feel like I think Tom King was trying to do this with Riddler and try to make Riddler like a bigger thing in that like war of whatever.
War of jokes and riddles.
It didn't really work.
He made him really good in the One Bad Day. I thought that was a really scary version of Riddler. Riddler could be Batman's biggest villain.
He just needs a cooler jacket. If he had this jacket, maybe. You know? That's fun. So here's our boy. Here's our boy, Jaboy. Our boy, Andrew Cronky. First visit at Baltimore Comic-Con last year. Is it first thing? Got to get there. Got to get those prints. I got one I'm looking at right now, my Bloodrick print. This is a big success story for, I think, we're going to just revel in Andrew Cronky's success. So far, this is my favorite one. This is the 4th one. And but the Spirit one, we didn't even review that last week. That was fine. I didn't like the Jinx one. You know, I think this one so far is the best one. I like the Phil Hester one quite a bit, but I think this one is so far the best one. I'm just surprised that this guy draws like this. Meaning that, you know, he drew practically in charcoal in Bloodrick.
Right.
He had 1 issue of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, that Larry Hama scripted, so most of it was probably laid out for him or described to him, but this is 100% him.
I just laughed at this first page because it's like, what's the first thing you do? Puts up a roadblock. Like yes, that's what Roadblock should do.
That's funny. That's funny. I didn't even get that. This is a cool week because two of my first G.I. Joe toy was Roadblock, and when we talk about something else later, I'll explain another thing. But you already know that answer. You already know what that is. So yeah, just kind of like a standard rescue mission. I love how big he is, and I also love that it's just freezing cold, and he just has his jacket off anyway. No jacket.
Just got the camo wife beater on.
Camo wife beater, good. Now he's had a couple costumes. I guess I had the green with the pouches and stuff. I think I had that one.
Okay.
There was at least minimum of 2 Roadblock. But yeah, you got to have the big gun at the end. Yeah, really fun. I hope that they're just in the mix. You know, I feel like, you know, there's a little stable of artists for Skybound. So, you know, we got Jason Howard, Otley. This guy's in the mix. Paul Pelletier is kind of filling in here and there and stuff.
Yeah, you know, we got
we've got some good issue layouts there. So I went on there I wanted to look up his. I wonder if this kind of got him the job. This is a pinup. I just went on his website just to kind of look at some stuff. There's a cool Turtle
That's awesome.
Bloodwolf baby.
Look at that.
He's fighting X-Wings. Or he's fighting TIE Fighters, rather. All right, Spider-Man again. Because I thought
we already did this book.
I know. Gotchaman, Ryu, Scavengers. I'm not sure if you read this. All these one-shots are really fun.
No, they've been fun. They're real. I hope there's a huge, just a Gotchaman stable of people buying these books. They keep making them.
Yeah, I don't know. It might burn out, but I feel like there's only ever been no more than 2 years of Gotchaman ever, whether it be Battle of the Planets. Like there's been at least 2 relaunches, and this is the 3rd, and it doesn't totally last. But Yeah, I don't. Steve Orlando. This is kind of perfect for Steve Orlando. Steve Orlando to me is kind of cheesy, kind of wraps back in, but in this it really works for me. I
I think
also like the fact.
he's pretty young. Like he's a lot younger than us.
Yeah,
So it's
he's
cool that he's
5.
doing this.
Yeah, I think this is just fun, and I also think that they just do a good job with him being like the straight up mechanic and getting into going underground. And I like the concept of this here, this Galactor War Machines. I think this is awesome. And
Yeah.
then you have the pirates. I looked them up to see if they were original, and they are. But I almost felt like there would have been an episode of Battle of the Planets with these guys, with these like pirates.
Yeah, no, it's smart because you feel like they when you create characters that feel like they're existing characters, good on you. You did the job right.
Yeah, Thundercats did the same thing with that Calico, the new character. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It felt right in universe. Yeah, and I like that he's kind of bringing them all together. Just good dynamic art too. Just like this is a really good overhead shot, and then bring it all back.
Yep. Got to eat.
Yep.
See, you end
And
it in the
then
kitchen. You don't begin it in the kitchen.
that's right.
Well, they're not in the kitchen, but close enough.
Yeah, they stay in there. It's just like Speed Racer. They got to stay in, and they got to keep working on stuff. Yeah. So listen, it says Volume 1, Solo Adventures Volume 1. So if they keep doing all the one shots have been great, all of them. So yeah, I'm surprised. This is just super fun. So yeah, if you had told me, I'd be. All the licensed books are really fun right now. It's kind of
No,
crazy.
they're all better than the last time they all got licensed 20 years ago.
Yes, those were rough. Those were pretty rough.
Well, I mean,
Tried them.
they vary.
Thundercats.
They vary. Thundercats was good. Battle Plans was good. The Udon art, was it Steve Oy drawing them? I kind of forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they were good. Right. They were well colored. I love Udon colors. Udon.
Deadpool Wolverine. Here's if there really doesn't need to be a Deadpool series, there really doesn't need to be a Wolverine series. I know that's not the way Marvel works.
There doesn't need to be a Deadpool's Wolverines series.
Deadpool's and Wolverines series, and doesn't need to be a Weapon X-Men series.
Or as I like to call it, Wolverine Deadpool plurals.
For 3 issues. They won't even give it 5 or 6. What are they doing? 3 issues? And then it's canceled. That way they can do a new number 1, or they could say, you know what?
But I hope there's some strength behind this book, because Percy's a good writer. Cassera's a great artist.
Look at that punt. Look at that Wolverine, dude.
Look at that crotch,
awesome.
Dude. His stripe looks a little Jimmy Chung-ish, and I like that because I'm such a Jimmy Chung fan.
Yeah, good guns. Yeah, this guy's fun, man. This guy's really, really fun.
And he must be pretty fast. Like he never really, like, there's very few breaks when he does his image stuff.
No, he did when he was doing what did he start on XFORCE during the Hickman stuff? Was it XFORCE?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did XFORCE. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Good coloring too.
It was more characters. Yeah, it's probably the same colorist, but yeah, I kind of love this transfusion.
He draws a really good Beast.
Look,
and Wolverine.
They needed to just, this guy rules. This guy rules. This series is great. Listen, I know Weapon X-Men's going fine. Just pump this book up. Again, this book's a year late. This book there should have been a trade of this out when the movie came out. Because when I see them in a bar hanging out together, I know they're going to beat the shit out of each other. I'm just like, yeah, I just saw this. I just saw it. So, and this is what I want. I want that Nick Fury. I want that costume. Oh. That's what I want. Please. And what happens here, Rob? Whoa! We got Strife in Wolverine's body. That's what you want.
That's not good for nobody.
That's what you want. And then look at those costumes. As teased in issue 1 or 2. I was like, cool. Good. So yeah, this is probably going to be a 6, I guess. This was issue 4. Yeah, that's fine. Listen, fun. Part 2. So they spend a couple pages kind of like, you don't even need. What's cool about this is you don't really need to even read the World's Finest, because I think next week when it goes back to World's Finest time, that's going to be a whole separate story. Like, they're not like, and then I want to say by the 4th one they're all going to pull together. This is 6 issues total.
All right.
Travis Moore filling in for the Dan Mora.
That's fine. He's got Superman to catch it up to do.
Yeah, really solid. I like this. We don't get like a real good drawing of Superman here, but like this looks so much like Christopher Reeve, like just this little profile down.
Yeah, I dig it. I
I don't
dig
know
it.
if I just don't know if I mean it's, and I guess it's just the way that they have to kind of portray it. I feel like when they were just given to everyone JLU cards, there was like there's no vetting at all. It's my only issue
Um,
with
right, because it's not like Martian Manhunter Benedict, and he's like, yeah, give everyone. These are all good people. That's what he typically would have done. Like I sense, or if he didn't want to be invasive and read their minds, he at the very least would have been. I sense nothing wrong with these people.
right,
So that's the only
right,
reason
right,
Grodd could really get away with this.
right, right. I like creepy Grodd there. Look at him peeking around the corner.
So creepy, dude.
That's really fun. But I like this even concepted, like of them show. I like how he's showing him things that we know, and like Wonder Woman smiling, breaking Maxwell Lord's neck. This is so funny.
Yeah.
It's her smiling. Like I like what's that down the bottom? I couldn't figure out what that was. This right here. Like is that some type of explosion? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. Aquaman's killing Black Manta there. I got that, but they brought him back, and they just have like wackadoo shit. They could
Right.
have done more with Hal Jordan there. Show Hal Jordan like decimate a whole town. No big deal. He's fine.
Should he have been looking crazy with like 10 different rings?
Yeah,
Like it's almost like it's what they started to go for, and then they pulled back.
he forgot. Yeah,
He forgot.
forgot to do it. Do you know who this is? Do you know who that is? I feel
Is
like
it
there's something else I feel like there could have been some more Easter eggs. This could be something. That's Codename Assassin, baby. Woo! Codename Assassin.
Oh. Oh, nice.
But but I think this codename. This is from first issue special, and this is a Wade. This is a Wade thing. There was an interview with Wade. I don't know if you remember this when Tom King started doing Danger Street, and there was like, "Hey, do you have any projects you want to do DC wise?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a little mad at Tom King because he's taken my idea. He wanted to take all the characters from first issue special and do some type of series with it."
Oh,
He's like,
did Mark Waid want to do that?
yeah, and he
Guess
said
what?
Tom King's doing it right now.
Would have been
Worse,
better.
yeah, way better. I didn't even get through
Yeah,
that series.
because King doesn't treat anyone like they should be treated. What I mean, he treats a warlord like a fucking moron.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
no thanks,
and that's
no
so bad.
thanks.
Yeah, that is not the case. You got to do Warlord right. Warlord right, please. This is a little. I was looking this up, and it's funny. We just talked about Steve Orlando, but Steve Orlando brought a new character apparently of this codename assassin. Because when I looked it up, it said, "Oh, first appearance, Batman Gotham Knights, digital first." What? So like, apparently there was like a new character, new that
Nunu.
they made for that. So Um, this was kind of a bummer because I kind of like this character. I wanted him to have some type of redemption arc,
Yeah,
and he's gone. He is boiled up. And also, when
yeah,
is this?
he is a
And
smear.
we also picked all the different. I mean, he picked different people from different timelines, right? So this isn't Luthor now. This is Luthor that is
Right.
probably,
Battlesuit Luthor. Right.
yeah. It's Battlesuit Luthor. You have Steve Englehart Joker back there. Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers. So, and then what are they doing? They're going to jump. We're going to jump back now, right? So we're going to go. Now we have to go back to Batman Superman World's Finest Annual, which I believe is I think it's Clayman again. I'm pretty sure.
All right,
So
that's a thumbs up.
yeah, this is fun. Listen, I'll take it. That's good. This made me mad that I didn't like this issue. This was kind of rough. The first half just felt like, and it's basically the second storyline just kind of ending. So I didn't even take any pictures of the first one. I didn't even screenshot the first one. I really loved this. I thought this was actually really fun. Then you see as a like backup of
Yeah.
like really messy Cable. So you have some good recap Cable stuff. You have some recap of X-Force stuff. Because this is what is this? Which X-Force that?
That's the
Is that
post.
past Pasella? or that's
that's
Pasella
because
Polina?
Cable didn't. I think it's when Cable came back after he got killed, quote unquote, in the Executioner song. That's around like 16, 17, 18. And then he comes back around 25, right? 24, 25.
Yes.
Around that era, I think.
So that's a Capullo. And then here we have the Dennis Hopeless, Dennis Hallam.
The Salvador LaRocca series.
Yep. And then down here you have the X-Man. You got young Nate Gray here, right? With Deathlock and
Warpath,
or Thunder,
Shatterstar, right? Boom Boom, maybe. Domino, that's close.
Yeah. And then you have Psylocke. But then they kind of get into some other stuff to do some, there's some Age of Apocalypse stuff.
Right, Days of Future Past stuff.
You get all the Rachels. All the Rachels. And then what's that top one? Do we know this, or this is just something that's created here? Yeah, Forearm.
Could be something that's created there.
Yeah.
They should have referenced
Shatter Shot.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. They should have referenced Shatter Shot. But that was they had a storyline in the future.
Yeah.
It's because somebody asked, like, oh, what happened to Cable? And Sam's like, God bless and curse his eyes.
Curses one eye. But yeah, this is the first time we saw him in Professor X's little floaty chair. I just don't know why they went classic here.
He officially becomes Niles Calder or Niles Cable now.
Yeah, Niles Cable.
Niles Cable
from Amalgam, from X Patrol. X Patrol. Right. I just don't know why you're going to go classic like X Factor like lineup. That's weird to me. You're doing straight X Factor lineup. I guess.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. But anyway, I just thought it was better. I liked it. I like, this is what I felt, when, and I feel like Nicieza used to do that. He used to have like weird futures. We like that one storyline they did in New Warriors where it was all crazy future set stuff and Egyptian and.
Yeah. They're where the Sphinx took over the world and went back in the past.
Yeah. So we'll take it. What's weird about this too is like you have this happening. This is unrelated to the Cable Blood and Love and Chrome story.
Right.
The beginning, the only thing I thought was really kind of crappy was at the end of it, and I meant to take a screenshot of it, is like the last page of X-Force breaks up at the end of it. And there's some type of throwaway line. It's like, well, I guess that was it or something. There's some kind of like very meta line, be like, okay, that just happened. So that's kind of a bummer.
They should say that. Okay, that just happened.
That just happened.
I forget whoever said that first. Where like they made fun of it. I'm like, that's so funny because I hate that line.
Yeah, I hate that. I hated a couple years ago when everything was, I got this, or you know what I mean. Like I thought that was a pretty brutal. All right, here we go. Let's do our artist run. All right. So we got, let's see, from the top, we got Robbie Liefeld through. Got the Magnola fill in there. No cover, but that no cover there creates Hellboy, so that's all good.
Yep.
Pasella.
Pasella.
Capullo through.
Does Terry Schumacher do that cover? That's fine.
This? No.
Though you got Liefeld cover here. Pasella. Schumacher?
No, that's Casada. That's Casada. It's Capullo. I believe that's a Richard Bennett. Or no, Richard Bennett did 24.
24.
Did that one. Did 24.
Terry Schumacher drew an issue.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he might have drew that issue.
Okay.
I think right after. Because I think that's the first Capullo issue. Capullo did the annual. There's no annuals, I guess, too. That's weird too. Okay, and
doesn't count the numbering.
Tony Daniel.
Right. Tony Daniel. That was a good time until McFarlane stole him.
Got him. And then Polina through.
Polina's really good.
Woo, Polina did a lot. Wow. Okay.
Polina did a lot. And then we get Jim Chung at some point.
Jim Chung was right around here.
We also had a brief run by Anthony Castrilla, who also goes by Mac. Michael Anthony Castrilla. He's got a John Byrne style. I think he only did a couple issues. This is what, 1 through 100? And
yep.
Can you believe they didn't give us the Liefeld cover for 100?
No dice.
And he did 50 as well, right? Was 50 the triple gatefold? And
triple
100
was Polina. Oh man, I'm stuck here. Look at this. You see my spinny?
I don't see your spinning. I just have your arrow still moving.
Yeah, my arrow's just spinning on my end. Stuck. That's it.
50. All right. So right in the middle is the Adam Polina. Yeah, quadruple gatefold cover. Liefeld had a variant quadruple gatefold cover for 50. Issue 100 down the bottom just had a single image new Liefeld cover. And I thought that was a big deal. I'm like, what? He's still going to, because when issue 50 came out, they hadn't announced Heroes Reborn yet. So to us, seeing Liefeld come back and draw the variant cover to issue 50, which was a 4-piece gatefold cover, was just beautiful. Just beautiful.
When it turns to Brian Wood here.
Right? When Warren Ellis takes over the X offices for a minute on all the non-selling books.
Will
Statachio? By the way, no, it wasn't Brian Wood. Warren Ellis. That was pure Warren Ellis did the first 6 issues.
Oh, okay.
Warren Ellis, Statachio. Liefeld mocks it because they just put him in like black leather. Weird.
Black leather, baby.
But Warren Ellis beat out Liefeld. Liefeld was this close to taking it over. He was going to draw, I think, X-Force. I think Ian Churchill was going to do, I forget, and then Dan Fraga was going to do Generation X.
Fraga Boom.
Yeah,
Fraga Boom's going to be somewhere in a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah. Up from Georgia.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere around here. I think it's North Jersey. Then we get the...
It's not exactly around here.
That's around here for me, baby.
It's okay.
Get up there.
And then we get the...
Milligan. Peter Milligan outward.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I was thinking the issues before. I was trying to think who took over. Yeah, the Olivetti stuff. And then we get, Peter Milligan.
Like Joe Pruitt,
like
somebody.
So good.
And last issue, Duncan Fagredo, and then it goes to Ecstatics, goes over.
Yep, this is the official X-Force Volume 2.
Right. See, I would count the Shatterstar miniseries, but we can't really count that here.
It's not X-Force.
And Liefeld drew that one, or that went to Marat drew that?
That went to Marat. Liefeld did the covers. That came out simultaneously with this 6 issues. I like these 6 issues a lot. A lot of good stuff. The villain, they fight this big dragon-looking Ridley Scott alien-looking creature named Scorn. 2 N's, or is it 2 R's? Scorn. Who was going to be used in a book called Extreme, or no, Awesome something. What the hell was it called?
Awesome Actress.
It was Awesome something. It was going to be Jeff Loeb and Churchill. It was going to be a crossover of all the awesome characters at the time, fighting American, Youngblood, Rejects, Coven, whatever. So anyway, he ends up using it for this X-Force story. But like in typical Liefeld fashion, he draws other stuff in this. I think we get a little Starguard, we get the Fantastic Four. It's fun. And then it relaunches again. He did offer to do X-Force Volume 2. He wanted to do a follow-up miniseries where X-Force goes into hell and saves magic. Which is the second time he tried to do that story, because that was going to be a story in X-Force originally before he left for Image. And they kind of turned him down. He offers to do it again here. They turn him down. And then I think within a year later, I think that's when the Scotty Jones or Mark Brooks, I think it was Scotty Jones drew that storyline, where the New Mutants go down to hell and save magic.
Right.
So, all right. So this is
I think that's right. Clayton
Crane. This was good stuff. It printed a little dark. I don't even remember that. They used glossy paper, printed it really dark, so it was kind of hard to almost read some of these books. I mean, even looking at these covers, you almost can't make out the characters.
Yeah, and then it goes to, towards the end, I think they had the Eddie Gradinoff covers, so they're a little bit clearer. Then it flips over to the Ed Ribic covers when it goes to the new Uncanny X-Force, right? And that was Remender. So Remender, Jerome Pena. So it's basically the Fear Agent people taking that over.
Right.
So that was fun.
It was good. It was fun.
And then that goes away to, I don't know who did it after that. Then does it go to, what's his name?
Yeah, I'm kind of forgetting.
Topus? Yeah, I forget
Maybe.
too. And down there, I think
This
it's
isn't
Chris
the
Anka.
yeah, this isn't the Rocka stuff.
That's right. Yeah, so then that's up there. That's Chris Anka is here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't,
I
I'm
read
not,
all
I
this
read
stuff. I
these.
just really am like,
Yeah, I'm
it
bored.
didn't
I
stick
have
with
no
me
idea.
until the Hickman relaunch. I feel like
Yeah,
was it like Cy Spurrier or somebody else came in and did it, and I don't think I remember particularly liking it. I don't think it was Gillen.
yeah, and then
Gillen.
here it turns once it flips to all the what's the name stuff, all the Hickman stuff, all the Hickman-y stuff. Cassara
Yeah,
has some stuff in there. Cassara there.
yeah. The Cassera stuff is great. The coloring is great.
And then the new one, Jim Toe. Jim Toe, Marcus Toe.
Right. The Jim Toe, Marcus Toe, the Toe Bunch.
Yeah. And then it's over.
It's
It's over,
over, Prime.
Johnny. Yeah, the identity of it's just kind of gone though, man. Like you can see how it just kind of rotates through and just like why is Colossus in here? And it kind of it just loses identity.
Yeah, don't bring it back unless you have something really good. Like X4 shouldn't be like a whole filler. Like it was once one of the most. I mean, for it's the second highest selling comic of all time.
Yeah, the lineup that we just got, which we like the lineup, there's not one member of X-Force in it.
Yeah,
Not one. There's not one member that was in the initial X-Force.
I mean,
Farrell.
if anything, if you want to launch X Force again, it should basically be the Wolverine Deadpool team.
Right. Ugh.
Oh, you
Here
know
we
what they
go.
don't put in there? They don't put in there X-Men or X Force -1.
X-Force -1. Where's the kill shot? One shot. No dice. Not a number. No number. NN. No number. G.I. Joe 6. This is probably my pick of the week. Lots of wonderful coloring. Tom Riley art. Joshua Williamson.
I
Big
wonder why
blowout
it's your pick
fight.
of the week. Yes, it's
Very
good.
violent fight. Violent fight. Layered Destro. Layered.
That's right,
Layered's the funniest. This is the bloodiest shit ever, dude. Look at this. Would
dude.
you
Yeah, it's
know
rough.
to not shoot that metal in the face?
No.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Ah.
Why would you think that would not? I mean, you wouldn't think it would ricochet. I don't think he's stupid to do this, but you figure it should go through his head. It's a kill
He would
shot.
think the caliber of his gun that a GI Joe would carry would have to be something where you know what it is. He already knows there's giant robots out there, so he would have to carry something that's more advanced. I would think. I mean, that face mask, is it made out of what Transformers are made out of?
It's made out of adamantium or vibranium. What are we thinking here? Like, is
Cybertronium.
there conversations? Is Jordi Belair calling anybody? I'm like, I think I'm just going to do a couple colors here and do weird splotches and shit. Are these splotches her splotches? Or these? I think it's probably Tom Riley splotches. Kind of
Could be.
zany. Splotch, splotch, splotch. Yeah, I would like to see the original art of this. You said Riley draws on paper?
Yep.
Unheard of.
I would not have thought it myself.
Unheard of.
I love that casual slice. Like the arms behind Cobra Commander, just whoosh.
Whoop. Yeah. I love it. Now, so we got a little bit of mystery box stuff here. All right, we're not sitting in the kitchen. We're all just gonna kind of get feeling a bit better. As soon as I saw this, I saw that little star there. Got pretty excited. Very interesting that this week, Key Hound, baby.
That's right.
Hound. Now
And
listen,
that's your go on.
my first transformer. I got that transformer and I lived at 1010 Somerset Road, which they renumbered that street, so it's not even there anymore. That house is there, but it's a different number. It's weird. It's a one-way street now in Cooper Village. And I got lost. This was the thing I did quite a bit when I was a kid. I would just get lost in something, kind of like the Walter Mitty situation, where Walter Mitty would have a dream and then he would just be missing, whatever. Did it all the time. I did it one time when I was in Ocean City, Maryland, when I was like watching. I walked ahead and I saw in an arcade there was a cartoon on. It was Space Ace. It was either Space Ace or Dragon. I think it was Dragon's Lair. Don Bluth. So I'm watching it, and I realized at a certain point, as the back of my neck started like sweating, and I'm like, shit, I've been here a little while, and I don't know where anyone is. So rather than go out into the boardwalk, I just stayed there and I kept watching it. And they're up and down the boardwalk looking for me. I'm like 4 or 5.
Wow.
But this was something I got to figure when I got Hound. I went out front and I just started, and I literally went the entire block, pretty big block in Deptford. But I just like on my hands and knees just pushed the Hound as a Jeep, which was small. It was pretty small. I have one downstairs, and I pushed it all the way around the block. I got back, and Mom's like, "Where the hell were you? We're having dinner. What the fuck?" Like,
she's like, "I'm leaving your dad now."
Yep,
that's what she said. That was the day she knew.
She said it, and it's all your fault, Mark.
It's all your fault, Mark. We I've said before, very, very poor job. I'm such a jerk sometimes. That makes up for you being
the best.
Testy tonight. I'll show you, Rob. You put all this show together.
Oh yeah. I yelled at you earlier. You were saying something. I was like, I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready. I was calling you unprofessional.
I was like, oh, sorry. Was I up at 6 a.m. putting our show out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was. That
Italian rage.
Yeah.
I saw blank Rob, and I woke up and I'm like, was I mean to Rob? No, that's not me. Your eyes rolled back, your head. No, I was too poor to have Hound. What's funny is I think I told you a story. Like, my first Transformer was like Mirage, and my next Transformer I didn't get till like Christmas was like Bumblebee.
But I went down.
I did. But like I kept getting GoBots from people, like just gifts or something from other family members. Like, and I had Jeeper Creeper, which is the GoBots Jeep, which is a really awesome toy. Like, I actually kind of like GoBots, but like at the time it was like they were always cool toys. It's just their cartoons suck so much.
The cartoon was really bad, and it was a bummer because like
as
it was also really hard because then you had to combine your toys and you'd be like, I'm from another dimension. You know what I mean? Like, you had to kind of like play.
Yeah.
I had a Rock Lord too. Just out of nowhere, I had like a Rock Lord there. I was like, I'm also transforming. You know what I mean? Rock Lord's kind of Transformers.
8 years old, and I'm like, this GoBot cartoon's for kids. you were 7.
Yeah. Well, that's because Transformers was fucking dangerous, man. There was some dangerous shit in there.
They were just smarter. I mean, what was GoBots? Was that Hanna-Barbera? So it was like just made, and the Transformers made this awesome transforming sound. And GoBots were just like, I'm like, nah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Transforming sound, that's where it's at.
Transforming sound where it's at. This was the variant cover. That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Like
you should get that cover.
I know.
Like, that's a wall book for you. Because it's the introduction to your... And you know what's funny? That's the same thing that happened with Dreamwave Transformers number 0. It's like they go to this Antarctic place where they find like Soundwave in the ice, and when they get there, the Jeep just transforms in a town. But they're controlling them. That was like part of the storyline. The humans, whatever, the military found a way to control the Transformers at first.
Don't you take my Hound away,
dude? So you must have been happy about that when Dreamwave Transformers 0 hit.
That was good. That was pretty good. So this is definitely the most imaginative book you can have. I still don't think that they have the right continuity just yet in all the Ultimates. Like, I don't feel like this is the same universe as like Gotham City, same universe as Metropolis, Smallville. I would prefer everyone to have, at least like when I think about what was it, the Multiverse of Madness, when you went to that one city and everyone's like having the pizza balls. But yeah, just a lot of craziness. We talked a little bit before the show on how between this, look at that, Jesus, between this and this, so the Dennis Camp section of the show.
We're camping out. That's what he should call his podcast, Camping Out.
So I barely took pictures of this thing because like it was so gross. It was just tough. It was tough to handle.
It was a tough story. Tough images. Like both, like the father, son, mother, the job, the treatment of immigrants. Just
treatment of
Rough,
immigrants
dude.
and how they alluded to the treatment of cattle and just herding and just there's tons of good allegory. You know, normally you would feel it's a little heavy-handed, but here it's super well done. There's still the appearance that, like I thought in the first issue, you're gonna have the Doomsday guy there too. You're gonna have that guy. He's gonna be in every issue, and that's fine. I wonder if he is something, or if he's
Right.
God, or he's nothing. He's just some crazy dude, in the town. Doesn't matter. I like that. Just do a little, just a tiny could count, could not count. He's like Silent Bob, just kind of pops in, might say something,
Right.
maybe
Sorry.
not say
Says
anything.
something about not all chicks make you lasagna
That's correct.
unless they Italian.
37 dicks. Was it 57 dicks? 37
37, right?
in a
Yeah,
row.
in a row. Hey, you get back here.
Try
Try not
not
to
to
suck any.
try not to suck any dick in the parking lot. That's a great fucking line. That's a
It
great
is.
line. Here we go. We're looking at this again
All right.
because you
Look,
know what? Because I
you
spent
saved
a bunch
different
of
pages.
time. I saved different pages. I did, and then I zoomed in on that gross thing.
You're
You
funny.
know. All right, here's the last one. Just because I had 2 different days where I was reading, and then I was taking pictures, I was screenshotting my stuff.
Yes.
So this is the last book. I wish this was out a year ago. Um, this wasn't as well paced as the last two. Still really good. You probably super enjoyed it. It was great Brainiac.
Great
Um,
Brainiac.
they used
Thinking
the plot
ahead. Yeah.
point here because they just like we got to get rid of all the heroes. Also
Yes.
don't exactly know when this is. Aquaman's always your go-to, right? Because they can't exactly tell which Flash that is. It's all Flash, but
It's a Flash. Yeah.
he has the pointy. I don't remember the
No,
double lightning.
it's just an alternate universe. He never had double in our universe. He never had double lightning.
Give me that double lightning.
That's right.
But yeah, Aquaman, long hair Aquaman, no hook hand.
Right.
Does look how good that Superman is there. Oof. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. That is pure. That is pure Kevin Nolan. He just took that over.
You got very sickly. This was pretty brutal. Look how sad this is.
Yes.
I wonder if that's something. Is that like that's almost like a I felt like that was what do you call? Not exactly. The Sistine Chapel, not exactly, but
Right.
something
Right. There's
very
something.
similar. Could be something. Um there
Yeah.
was something I don't think I took a picture of it. I feel like Brian Hitch's thing is if he ever has to draw Hawkman, he draws Hawkman way in the distance because he drew Hawkman again in this, and he just barely drew him. And
He's
I was
like,
like, "Come on,
he
man!
goes, I drew him enough. That's what he's saying.
I drew him enough, and I didn't get paid very well, so I'll
So,
allow it."
I never enjoy an ending where Superman loses powers. It just, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, it's fine. But they do kind of redeem it in that last couple of panels.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell no one. Dude, what a great line. What a great line. What a great ending.
yeah. This is horrible. That's
Oof.
brutal.
Yeah.
I'm just breaking apart.
He just destroys them. Just
Yeah, yeah. I think
but
this would be a good reread, man. Good hardcover. Be good to hand out because they touch on a lot of different things, but they don't necessarily carry it differently. Like all the Lori stuff, the Lori Lamaris,
right.
Lamaris, that was all done super well. I think the Justice League stuff's done super well. I think the Metropolis stuff's done super well. I feel like it's a very good broad, uh, Superman story, but
I
it's a
feel like
compliment. It's a compliment a bit to even All Star Superman because there's a pending death in that as well.
right.
So
Similar downbeat ending, but not like entirely downbeat.
yeah, Youngblood baby.
So the thing
Woo.
is, I don't know where Mark Waid's Superman is. Like this is his all-star Superman. I think this is everything he would want to do with Superman, but can he do something this good monthly? I don't know. Like we're not getting it. Like
Isn't
where
that
we got Action Weekly, which is a great story. We're getting Superboy in back at Action Comics. So we hope we hope that to be good.
Mhm.
Superman Birthright was a reinvention of Superman at that time.
Right?
So like is this the pure closest to what Mark Waid could bring to Superman?
Yeah, I think this
There's
was in the drawer. I think this was in the drawer for a long time. I feel like this is then he just kind of touched on some ideas. I feel like Superboy he is going to have a wonderful time, and I would love it if Action turned into. I can't necessarily turn into Adventure Comics and turn into Superboy and Legends of Superheroes, but that wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset.
This thing was 48 pages, so that's 2.5 comics. So it's roughly what? How many comics altogether? 2.5, 4.5, 5.
Yeah, you still have 6,
7.5. It's at least 7 comics.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there's room. You could have turned this into 12 issues of a series. The ending would have had to have been different, so it wouldn't have packed that same punch. But like, I wouldn't have mind this being a monthly Mark Waid run on Action Comics.
Yeah, I want his Superboy. I think it's actually kind of cool.
No, I'm excited about Superboy.
Not writing Superman. He can write Superman in World's Finance like he has been doing. He can write Superman in JLU.
Listen, man, my favorite Superman stuff is Elseworlds related books. They're phenomenal. But that doesn't mean I don't want Superman Monthly to be as good as possible.
Yeah.
I'm just like BSing at this point.
Well, we're gonna have Williamson, we're gonna have Slott, and then we're gonna have Crypto. There's gonna be lots of stuff. There will.
This is Superman summer. This is hot Superman summer.
Let's hope that movie's good, man. Or else there's no DCU anymore. That's it. Everything's canceled.
It's funny. I feel
Kyle Chandler, you're fired again.
I feel more secure about DC Comics than Marvel right now. I just feel like DC's building on stuff. Everything's kind of doing good. Like that Jim Lee Batman was good this week.
Yeah,
like it was better than the first issue.
Yeah, that Fraction run I think is going to kill. I think that's going to do wonderful. I think that's going to be great. I think the next wave. I think all the absolutes are running on all cylinders. I forgot to read Wonder Woman this week, just because I didn't like the art. I like Hayden Sherman's art. So this guy has more traditional art, but I kind of skimmed. I looked at it and I was like, I'll get to it.
It wasn't Hayden Sherman.
No, last 2 issues. I think it's just the little reprieve, and then it goes back to Hayden Sherman.
Was it the detective guy? Was the guy who's drawn detective? Did he take off?
It's a guy in that same. It's a guy in that same.
Yeah, I forgot to look.
Very similar.
It is a very similar style.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
But that was pretty good week. Pretty good week. Next week's a little light, so we might
pretty good.
Pretty good. This week we'll have 2 Youngblood reviews up. One is already up.
One's already up.
Check that one out. That's on Youngblood 2025. The first 10 minutes, I'm just like, Rob, what is this book? How is this out? I just start yelling at you.
It's fun. Like, this isn't the fall. This is October.
That's right.
Or this is the now. That was then. This is now.
The new.
When will then be now? Very soon. Spaceballs.
That's right. And then we'll have a Youngblood. What was it called? What's it? Deluxe edition? Deluxe edition. And then we do a side-by-side comparison between a digital and the print.
The OG Youngblood 1.
Yeah, that's 33 years old.
Yeah.
And then the recolor and the foil cover. So pretty good. Pretty fun.
Yeah. And it's sold out.
Sold out. Give me a second print. Flip book. Flip it.
That's right. Give us the away team cover. I've already seen the Tom Mason colors on that, so if we get that, that's fine.
No. I want Juan's colors.
I do want Juan's colors. I want Juan to recolor everything.
Give me Juan color on that.
1 is the loneliest number. All right. Time for bed. Good night, Mark.
Good night, everybody. I'm just gonna fall asleep here, and then I'm gonna turn around, and I'm just gonna clock in and work. Before I know it, I'll be right back in this chair.
Do you share your bed with Bear, or does he have his own bed?
No, he has this sectional. He made that.
I don't think there's enough room for any bed for you and Bear.
No,
we love Bear.
California King. All right, everybody. Well, we'll hook everyone, like, share, and subscribe. Show all your friends about it. Make sure everyone knows. Get some comments in there on stuff we should read next week. We might have to do some. There's not a big week next week, so we might do some catch-up stuff. I know there was some missing stuff the last couple weeks. Savage Sword of Conan next week.
Yeah, we didn't.
Liam Sharp issue, baby. Liam Sharp. Years in the making, and I think they just keep hiring him. They're very happy with his output. and he already had some stuff in the can, so I think he's working on like yet another story for Savage Sword. Yes. So I'm gonna kind of lose it. So been very spoiled. This week was very spoilered for me.
You were
And a
spoiled.
Hound book. My first two toys, Roadblock and Hound.
Yeah.
Both
How
green.
awesome.
Both
How
green.
Awesome. How awesome for you. Now,
awesome.
I need a Mirage comic and a Shipwreck.
And a Bubble Jumper. Yeah, it's weird they don't have a Shipwreck. They don't have a Shipwreck book. That Shipwreck would have had a good silent issue.
Great parody character
silent.
of him. Great parody character of Shipwreck on Venture Brothers called Shore Leave. He's like super gay, but it's so funny. It's just so funny.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, good show.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll see everyone soon. Thanks for coming and sharing and subscribing.
Awestruck.
And where is the buttons? Where's the buttons, Rob?
Time to go, Mark. Time to go.
Okay, let me see.